Hello everyone, we are the team that will present the North Central region, and the members are Josué Bruno Monroy, Christopher González Vaca, and me, Jimena Garduño Garcia. As an introduction, we want to remind you that economic geography is very important since it has been in charge of knowing how people live in terms of spatial distribution and what are the resources they have to be able to produce and consume goods and services. And we will apply the knowledge that we saw in class to a real example that is the North Central region of Mexico. Okay, we divided our research into 4 different sections, which are the physical description of the region, the economic geography, the financial politics, and local economies. Finally, a conclusion of all the data we found.
So first of all, we're going to talk about the physical geography of the region, where we're going to describe the main elements that we're able to locate, like the weather, the relief, or maybe some plains. So we can start. As we can see, the northern central region is integrated by Coahuila and Chihuahua, which are 2 of the biggest states in the country. And as we can see in the map, the highest point is the Cerro San Rafael at the bottom of the state of Coahuila. And also the lowest point of the region is the valley Rio Bravo, which is located at the northeast of the region. And also we can highlight that the region represents about 20% of the territory of the whole nation, and the boundaries, as we can see, are Sonora, Durango, Zacatecas, Nuevo León, and the United States of America.
For the orography part of the region, we decided to divide it into 4 main sections. And as you can see in the map, these sections are the Sierra Madre Occidental, de Sierras y Llanuras del Norte, de Sierra Madre Oriental, and the Grandes Llanuras de Norteamérica. And each of these sections has its own characteristics of the land and also some important places. For example, the Barranca del Cobre, the Bolsón de Mapimí, and the Cerro de San Rafael. Also, for the hydrology, this is also a part of our research, and as you can see, the region has different rivers, but here we put 2 of the most important, which are the Rio Bravo and the Rio Conchos. These rivers are important because they are a source of water, and also it can be used for irrigation. For example, near the Rio Bravo, they can cultivate cotton and some vegetables, and it's also a source of hydraulic energy. Also, an important fact is that the Conchos River has been in such demand that the World Wildlife Fund has declared it as a priority, and that this river needs attention and conservation.
Well, talking about the weather, the average temperature in the region is between 17 degrees Celsius and 22 degrees Celsius. However, the highest temperatures are occur from May to August, mainly in the summer, while these temperatures are greater than 30 degrees Celsius on average, and the lowest temperatures are during January and can be from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. As we can see in the map, the area has mainly dry climates. Almost 84% of the region has a dry climate, and this is due mainly to the Chihuahuan Desert, and also the temperatures that are more temperate are because of the Sierra Tarahumara, that is the purple area in the map. Next, please. Talking about the natural resources in the region, well, the region is very rich in minerals such as iron, zinc, gold, silver. However, Coahuila has the largest reserve of coal in the nation, and the largest coal seam are in Musquis, Sabinas, Juarez, and San Juan de Sabinas in Coahuila. Chihuahua, on the other hand, is the second producer of silver in Mexico, and there are also 1,000 mines, which 50 belong to small companies. Next, please.
Now we will continue explaining the economic geography of the region, and we will start with a very important factor, which is the people. And for the demographics, we found that this region has a total population of 6 million people that represents only 5% of the total population of Mexico. Then we found that the life expectancy is of around 75 years, which is a little bit higher than the national life expectancy. And also for the birth and death rate, we found that in 2020 there were more births, but if we look at the historical statistics, we can realize that actually the birth rate has decreased increasingly. And this could mean that people in this region don't want to have child. And in the future, there will be a larger population of older people.
Now in the education part, we can highlight that the age range that concentrated the largest population in the region were about from 10 to 14 years and 15 to 19 years. So based in that and looking at the chart, we can highlight that basically the initial school is all covered. Nevertheless, there's an important fall at the Mexican secondary level of almost half of the students. And to explain this data, we can look at the regional education rate, which is about 10.2, that equals Mexican population only gets to the first year of high schooling. And the importance of this analysis resides in not that people older of those age has no education, but the amounts are very low compared to the children levels, which explain why people for the economic activities in practice is much less than the students that want to innovate or be part of the economic decisions in the region.
Yes, we are now talking about the religion and ethnicity. The most followed religion in the region is the Catholic, with 73% of the population following this religion. However, we can find an important congregation that are the Mormons, which since 1885 in Dublin, Chihuahua, they established a settlement with the Iglesia de Jesucristo de los Santos de los Últimos Días. And today we can find another church that is the Iglesia del Primogénito de la Plenitud de los Tiempos, that belongs to the Levarón family, an important family inside the region. Also, talking about the ethnicity in the region, around 116,000 people over 3 years speak an indigenous language. And also we can find 4 relevant groups that are in the map. There are the Tarahumaras, Tepehuanos del Norte, y los Kicapúes in Coahuila, that are the most important indigenous group in the state. Next, please. And talking about the migration and the immigration movements inside the region, first, the internal immigration between 2015 and 2020, 119 people left the region to settle in another entity in the country, and Nuevo León was the main state that these people arrived. Also, for the internal immigration, around 173,000 people came to live in the states of the region, and Veracruz was the main state that these people come from. We can see that there are more people arriving to the region that are living in the region, which can be because of the economic factors that the region has. And for the international migration, around 45,000 people left the region to establish in another country, mainly the United States, because 87% of the people moved to this country. Next, please.
Well, now continuing with the density of the population, as we can see in the map, in such a wide area, majority of the population is concentrated in just a few municipalities, which are the darkest blue ones, such as Juarez, that has around 400 people per square kilometer, Chihuahua, that has around 110 people, Saltillo with 150 people, and Torreon with 570 people per square kilometer. And though some of them, like Juarez or Saltillo, might not see like a connection at first sight, they are very close to the edge of the states. So that allows them to take advantage of the connections with national and international entities like Durango, Zacatecas, or Texas, and turning them into key points of the economic activities, and consequently also increasing the density and the concentration of people. In 2020, around 89% of the population lived in urban towns, which is 10% higher than Mexico's average, and the rest of the people lived in the rural localities, a lower number than country's average, which is around 21%. However, individuals inside the region are more likely to live in an urban area, resulting in better conditions of life quality. But there's also sociographic conditions that affect the localities. And we can highlight that of all these, inside the region, there are about 80 people per square kilometer. So that's something we can highlight in the meantime. Next one, please.
For the labor status in the region, the economically active population until the first quarter of 2021 was 3.09 million people. That is 58% of the population over 15 years old that are in this economical population are actively looking for work. The economic active population that are occupied or have a job are 2.9 million people, and the rest that are unoccupied or unemployed are 138,000, which represent a 4.5% of unemployment rate, which is a little bit higher than Mexico's average. And talking about by the gender, only 43% of the women are inside the economic active population. And on the other hand, men are 75% of people looking for a job. Talking about the workforce, I previously mentioned it is 2.9 million of individuals, of which 38% are women and 61% are men, which is a great difference. Also, a difference that we can see in the salary. Talking about the salary, formal jobs in the region, the average salary is 7,800 pesos per month, while the informal average is around 5,000 pesos. If we do an average between these two, we have 6,000 pesos for any kind of job. However, the difference between salaries between men and women is clear, as men earn 7,400 pesos per month, while women only receive 6,000 pesos, which can be attributed to the sectors in which they work. First, also it's important to mention that the most important sector, or the sector that provides more jobs in the region, is the tertiary sector, where the commerce is the main activity. Then we have the secondary sector with 1.1 million jobs, and the most important activity here is the manufacturing. Also, this activity is the most important for the region, And finally, we have the primary sector, which with only 1,080,000 jobs in this sector of the population. Next, please.
Well, and now continuing with the economic distribution of the region. As a region, the economic development gets stronger by converting the deficiencies and taking advantage of the area and the resources that are available in both states. And we can highlight that the Chihuahua contribution through the commerce, restaurants, and hotels represent an important active economic unit amount. And for the Coahuila side, there's a big and wide portfolio of different economic activities. But as we can see in the chart, in the region, the main activity is manufacturing, and then is followed by the commerce and the services, and all of them encompass around $1,176,000 million. This was in the last year. So also this represents the 6% more or less of the Mexico's GDP, which turns the region in a very important one for the country. Next one, please. Now we're going to talk about the main activities we can find in the region. First of all, we have the manufacturing, and even though there's a wide portfolio, we can identify the region by the machinery and equipment manufacturing with metal products manufacturing, which is what I was saying before. They start to balance the capital and goods industry, because we can find some clusters like the Chihuahua's aerospace cluster that is mainly focused in converting the state in one of the main potencies for the country. And also we have the auto cluster Chihuahua, which is relatively new, but is also right now working like with 10 companies for manufacturing automotive parts. And in the same case, we have the SIEC, which is located in Coahuila. And between all of them, they share 59% of all the incomes of the region. Next one, please. Continuing, we have the mining sector, which might be the most important one or representative one in the productive part, because as we can see, the region is ranked in the first place nationally in several minerals amount, such as iron and coal, which is the main supplier for Celestite. As we can see in here, the coal production goes around 6 million toneladas. The iron one goes around 3 million, and the Celestite about 30,000. And as we can see also in the map, in the state of Chihuahua, there's an important concentration of golden and silver mines. But on the other side, in the Coahuila state, there's a much diverse mineral subtraction that includes lead, iron, silver, and uranium. And this is important. Next one, please.
Yes, the third topic we are going to talk are the financial politics and local economies. Next, please. Well, first we are going to talk about the political branches in the region. We have first in Chihuahua that the state governor is María Eugenia Campos from PAN, and its mandate is from 2021 to 2027. We have that the state congress is mainly formed by the PAN with 14 deputies, Morena with 10, and PRI with 5. However, Coahuila has more remarked tendencies. For example, PRI has control over the state governor with Miguel Ángel Riquelme, which mandate is from 2017 to 2023. The state congress, PRI has more deputies with 16. Then we have Morena and PAN with 4 and 3 respectively. The senators also are 2 from Morena, and the other one is from the PRI. And the municipal presidents, the most are from the PRI with 25 municipal presidents. Next, please. We have also some political policies. For example, in Chihuahua, the proposals by the new governor are more focused on strengthening the security, also the financial sanitation, and eradicate the gender violence, and also strategic alliances for the economic development of the region. We have some achievements or issues inside the Chihuahua, mainly because of the previous governor, that was Javier Corral, which was rated as the worst governor by the Chihuahuenses. Also, the state of Chihuahua, also Coahuila, were part of the Federalist Alliance, an alliance to fight against the policies of the President of Mexico. But we have the popular approbation for the previous governor of Chihuahua was around 46% of approval from all the people, which was one of the worst in the country. However, we cannot talk about the new governor as she started this year. On the other hand, Coahuila is the opposite of Chihuahua. The proposals by Riquelme were focused on health, safety, and economic reactivation because of the pandemic. Also, reform in matter of human rights to help the fight against the discrimination and other facts that are present in the country. Also, 17 investment projects were realized in the region. For example, the Carboniferous region was a project by the government and other institutions, and also the highway infrastructure from the Laguna to the border to increase the pass of goods between Mexico and the U.S. Some achievements, well, the state is a third of lower people in poverty or extreme poverty in the country. Well, the state was also recognized by the United Nations, by the Labor and Human Rights, was the 7th place in the performance of evaluation units by the Secretaría de Hacienda y Crédito Público, and also is the 4th safest state in Mexico, which it's great for the region. From the region, and well, the governor has the 2nd best evaluated qualification approval in the country with 68% of approval by the people. Next, please.
Violence is also a very important factor because it affects the people that lives in this region. And it is interesting because we found a very important discrepancy between the two states, because although Chihuahua has become one of the 10 most dangerous states in Mexico, Coahuila, on the other hand, shows very low rates of violence. And here we decided to put the Mexico Peace Index, where you can see that Coahuila is between the 10 most Pacific states, contrary to Chihuahua, that it's on the most dangerous states. And we found the main reasons of violence, which are the flaws in the security strategies, the criminal groups, and the drug trafficking. And also because these conflicts between criminal groups, there are shootings, and it affects the people that lives in this region. And for Coahuila, we found that the governor has some strategies with the Sedena to improve the safety of this place. And for the corruption, it is also important because people consider that with these conflicts, there is a lot of corruption because of the impunity. And also the citizens consider that the government plays a very important role in corruption, but there are other factors such as the people and the private sectors. And we found some statistics. For example, the government, 71% of the people that where in the statistics think that the government is the principal factor of corruption, and then the people with 70%, and in the last place it is corruption in the private sector with 9%.
Okay, and finally, first we have the foreign direct investment section, where, as we can see in the map, the concentration of the investment is located in just a few municipalities, as we mentioned before. Places like Juarez, Chihuahua, Saltillo, and Torreon are the ones that are most important for the foreign countries to invest. And right now, we can highlight that the manufacturing sector is the most important one, where the strategical location close to the border, as well as the highly trained and skilled human talent, are factors that influence a lot to choose these places to invest in, and also to produce their goods and services. Also, so far, the continued settling of different companies to produce is already a great attraction, but in the long term, the government efforts are looking to specialize the region into different sectors, such as the automotive, the aeronautic, or even to improve the extraction of minerals sector. And companies such as the Bombardier, Lexmark, Ford, or Safran are actually already opening new plants, even though they already have a long time in the region, but also promoting the design of massive productions that will help a lot the region, such as the Parque Industrial Interdependence Second. And with all this information, we can mention that the participation of different countries such as United States, Canada, and Spain is very important for the region. For example, in the United States part, the industry has been dependent in a lot of terms of the country because of the proximity between states, and also it is also an important element to consider for companies that are looking to get into the United States market, or as we can see, many companies that are actually investing in the country for producing in lower costs. Can we change it? At the end, we have the competitiveness rate that shows the main factors of the region in different sectors and their performance, such as the law, the environment, or society. Basically, we can say that the international relationships is the most important one. As I was mentioning before, the region is very important for the international trade because it's the #1 foreign direct receptor of the country. Also has the most important exportation levels, and the touristic GDP is very important for the region because it promotes the production and growth of the services sector. After that, we have the government, which mentions a pretty good interaction with society and clarity of information and management. So people are really aware of what is happening among the region. And also the incomes are very healthy because all the activities made by the government are actually having an impact inside the region. Other part is the innovation, which shows a pretty good rate in productivity of growth. And also the region has a lot of patents owned that enable the companies to start producing in some terms that will affect later for the country. And finally, all of these impacts in the economic stability. And its effect, we can see it in the gross domestic product of the region, and also by states, and the gross domestic product per capita, or the public debt that is actually getting lower each year. And with all this, the economic diversification that the region has is really big. So basically, the region is in a very good position to invest right now.
And well, for the conclusions, we have that resources are a very important factor for the economies. And with this work, we realized that economic geography will help us to understand how the society is changing according to the use of the resources and the land. And also the economic geography help us to understand how people live in the past and how these changes will affect the future. That's all.